Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Susan Loewen. Some of you know me from past experiences, and for some of you, I'm new. So welcome to today's exercise class. We're going to be focusing on how to do a really good workout in sitting, all right? Before I get started, I just want, if you or if you have someone with you, if you can get them to grab another chair. Obviously, we're doing this exercise program in sitting, but I also want to get another chair, because if you have another chair, it just broadens the scope of what we can do. So it doesn't have to be a special chair, nothing special, just a chair that you can bring. Put it to the side. We're not going to need it right now before we get started. The other thing is this is being done through Facebook, so if you have questions or comments or something you'd like addressed, you can put a comment on there and that will eventually get to me, and then we can address your question or concern. Okay, I just want to talk about seated exercises. Sometimes, you know, when we think about doing an exercise class, or we think about doing our exercises in sitting, we almost feel like, oh, it isn't quite good enough. It's, you know, oh, it's just going to be done in a chair. And I've had clients say to me, well, you know, if it's just going to be chair exercises, I'm not interested. But really, we can do so much in a seated position, okay? We can do our breathing, our posture, stretching, and even some cardio. So I'm hoping today to touch on those areas. I'd like to touch on breathing. I'd like to touch on posture. I'd like to touch on some stretching and cardio, and even some balance. And how can we work safely on balance while we're sitting? Or how do we move from sitting to standing safely and still incorporate some balance component to what we're doing? If anything that I'm doing isn't comfortable for you, please don't do it. And if you start to feel distressed or uncomfortable, please stop. I'm going to try and give some options this morning for if you want to make this exercise more intense, more of a challenge. I'm going to give you some options for that. But again, this is all voluntary and just use your own discretion. Okay, the first thing I want to look at is our breathing, actually. For those of you who know me, you know that I'm very interested in posture. But our posture and our breathing are just so closely related, okay? So if I have Parkinson's and if I'm getting older, right, certain things happen. One of the things that happens is that my upper body just tends to turn inwardly more, okay? And if my upper body is turning inwardly and my center of gravity, or my upper body shifts forward, which is what happens if I have Parkinson's, that's going to change how much air I'm taking in and letting go, okay? And it's really important that we get this depth of breathing. If I'm not that active throughout the day, and often, you know, especially with COVID, we're not as active as we used to be, everything just gets very shallow. So with Parkinson's, you know, it's really important to go big, okay? It's really important to make our movements bigger than what we want to, bigger than what feels normal. And that, to a certain extent, includes our breathing, okay? Because if I'm sitting very quietly and I'm looking at my computer, or I'm reading or watching TV or whatever, everything becomes very small, including my breathing. So let's just think about our breathing right now. So we're going to breathe in and then out. So I'm breathing in through my nose, and in my head, just so you know where I'm going, when I want to think about how I'm breathing, I kind of count in my head to 3. Breathe, hold, and then out for 4. So my exhalation part of my breathing is a little bit longer than my inhalation. This is really important because I want to get rid of that air so I can take a deeper breath in. Okay, I'm going to talk you through this. All you have to do right now is breathe in through your nose and then exhale through your mouth. So let's give that a try. You're going to breathe in and out. One more time. Breathe in and out. Now this time when you take that deep breath in, I want you to think of making the front of your body big. Okay? I don't want you to think of, no, when you breathe in, I want you to think of making the front of your body big. Okay, so we're going to breathe in for 3. Breathe in, hold, and out. Now, when I exhale, I don't collapse in, right? I don't come down. I'm letting that air out. There's going to be a shift, but I do not collapse inward. And again, breathe in, make the front of your body big, 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 and breathe out. This time, when you breathe in, I want you to think of making the front of your body big, and I want you to think of making your neck longer, okay? Parkinson's longs to shorten my neck. Here, I'm going to think of making my head go closer to the ceiling. I'm going to think of having a long neck. Let's go. Front of body big, long neck, breathe in. Breathe in and out. One more time. Long neck, big body. And out. Okay, we're going to add to this. Because my posture, as I get older, but also if I have Parkinson's especially, tends to turn me in, this time, you know what, we're going to add something else. We're going to make the front of our body very big, neck long, and you know what, we're just going to open up our arms a little bit. If the movement you're doing is down here, that's great. All I want is when you breathe in, I want you to make body big, neck long, shoulders open. Okay, so one of the ways we get our shoulders to open is by doing this movement. Okay, so let's put it all together. Deep breath in, neck long, open your arms, and out. Deep breath in, neck long, and breathe out. So I just want to say, you know what, with exercise, sometimes we tend to think all or nothing. We think, if I can't do the whole program, I don't have enough energy to do all of the program, I'm not doing anything. But do not think all or nothing. Do not think all or nothing with your exercise, okay? To do something is better than nothing. And one of the things we can always do is exaggerate our breathing, okay? Parkinson's wants you to minimize everything. You want to exaggerate, and that includes our breathing. Because by focusing on my breathing, it asks me to focus on my posture, okay? So by taking that deep breath, making the front of my body big, inhaling as much air as I can, exhaling as much as I can. When we're finished the exercise program we're doing today, I challenge you to get some, it's like a small birthday candle, and light it, or have whoever you live with in your home, have them light it, and then try to blow out that candle. I've done this with people, and they're always surprised because they think that they're got this fabulous exhale, and when they try to blow out a candle, they're kind of surprised at the amount of air it takes to actually blow out a candle. So if you try to blow out the candle, it will keep you honest as to what's actually going on with your exhaling. Okay, so that's our breathing. Think about this throughout the day, right? If you're standing in line at Safeway, and I hope you can see all of me here. If you're standing in line at Safeway, even if you've got your walk or whatever, what tends to happen is we're like this, right? I've got my shoulders forward in front of my hips. I'm turned in, so I'm a bit like this. So I can just imagine doing that breathe. I can just imagine doing that breath in. And by doing that deep breath in, by making the front of my body big, my neck longer, I will change my posture. I will change my posture from here to here. Sometimes we start thinking, oh, well, forget the posture, let's just exercise. But posture is so important because we want to exercise with as normal a posture as possible. Okay, so another thing that's really important and highly underrated, in my opinion, is shifting. Okay, is just this ability to shift. And remember, if you didn't have Parkinson's or years ago, before symptoms appeared, that sort of thing, if you were asked to go to a meeting and sit there for a while, or you go to a movie and you sit there for a while, or you're watching a TV program and you're sitting, what happens normally is we shift a lot. We just do. But if I have Parkinson's, how I land when I sit is where I tend to stay. That's where I sit, I stay. And then people say, oh, Susan, you know, everything's good, but after I sit for a while, I can't move, like, or I have trouble moving. Everything's good throughout the day, except if I've been sitting a while, I feel like I can't. Okay, so here's my challenge for you, is to practice a big shift, okay? So what I'm doing is, you've got to exaggerate with Parkinson's. You've really got to exaggerate. Now, I can see myself because I'm on Facebook, so I can see myself exactly what I'm doing. I don't think you can see yourself. I don't know. But anyway, it's very interesting when you actually see yourself. So sometimes people say to me, like I'll say to them, okay, let's shift side to side. Let's shift. And then they'll kind of get this. They'll go like, I'm shifting. And I'm like, no, you've got to go really big. You've got to go really big. You want to get your hip right off the chair. And not only that, but I really challenge you. So I'm going to shift. I'm going to shift to my left. And I always do this with people in a class. So I always start on my left side, so you get to start on your right side. So I'm always used to starting on my left. I'm going to shift to my left, but guess what? I'm not going to collapse down. Because sometimes what happens is people go like this. See? I'm shifting. No. Start with good posture. Start like you've just taken that beautiful breath in. You've made the front of your body big. Your neck is long, okay? We're going to shift, and you know what? This part of my body is going to get longer. When I move over here, I get longer. So there is no collapsing down when I shift. Another really important reason to have this ability to shift in your chair is because that's how you get to the front of your chair, right? So if I'm working with people and saying, hey, let's go from sitting to standing, let's go from sitting to standing easier, let's go from sitting to standing from a low height, one of the things you have to be able to do is get to the front of your chair. If you have armrests, by all means use them, because that will give you some leverage, okay? And you'll be thinking, well, Susan, when I see you move to the front of the chair, it looks pretty awkward, and I don't want to look like that. But remember, I'm exaggerating, right? We exaggerate to teach, and we exaggerate to learn. And we are trying to change our bodies and change our brain. So I've got to go way bigger than I normally would. So my big is pretty big, right? Because when I really exaggerate, it's a huge movement. If I have Parkinson's, sometimes my exaggeration isn't as much as I think. Okay, so plant your feet. Have a look at your feet. Are they super close together? Because if I have Parkinson's, oh, my feet love to cozy in. Nope. Make sure your feet are a few inches apart at least. Okay? So we're going to lean that way, get long, and reach and pull down. Let's just do that. Let's do 5 times to that same side so you get a chance to rock and reach and pull down. Rock, reach, pull down. That's 2. Let's do 3 more times. Really reach. Is your hand big? Is your body big here? And come down. 2 more. Reach and in. And big hand, big reach, reach, reach. Long, 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 long. And in. So you'll notice with my hand, I'm going big and then I'm pulling in. Let's do the other side, okay? So when we do the other side, what am I doing? I'm rocking onto this hip, I'm exaggerating, I'm long, and I'm reaching, okay? And go. And reach, and pull down. And big hands, and down. Look at your hand this time. Look up, and down. Look up, and down. Okay, so if I wanted to add a cardio component to that, say I'm like, okay, you know what, for whatever reason, I have to do chair exercises today. I'm going to do chair exercises, but I want to get my heart going a little bit. I want to feel like I've had a little bit of a workout. What you can do is move like you mean it. So if I was working with you, if I could see you one-on-one, I promise you I would be saying, move like you mean it. More, okay? Okay, so this time we're going to reach, pull down, reach, pull down, reach, pull down, reach, pull down. Other side for 3. Reach, pull down, long, big hand, pull down, long, big hand, and pull down. If for those of you, you're like, hey, you know what, I'm kind of having an off day here, that's a bit fast for me, you just do it at your own level. But I challenge you, I absolutely challenge you to go more, okay? I say to people, you shouldn't be too happy in my classes, okay? You want to be feeling like you're really working. Okay, now, if I want to get more cardio in this, what am I going to do? As I reach, I'm going to push down with my opposite leg, and then we're just going to go from side to side. So you can tell that I am getting a lot of movement. You can get a really good workout just by doing this. Okay, so we're going to start by reach, come down, other side, so we're going to alternate. We're just going to keep alternating, okay? And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if you're watching me, what you can tell is that when I really go big, what happens is my other hand automatically comes in. I've noticed with people with Parkinson's that when they're just doing this, the other hand just stays kind of waiting its turn to do the other side. But what you can really do, boom, is you can like go a really giant move, okay? Please pay attention to how your posture is. So if I could see you in person, I would be checking to make sure that you haven't collapsed like this, okay? I would really be wanting to make sure that the front of your body was big and your neck was long, and that your feet hadn't crawled in closer together. Okay, so let's go. 1, reach more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Brief rest. 10 more. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. So that's my shift from side to side. Just where you are now, what I want you to do is shift to the front of your chair. And if you have armrests, please use them to leverage yourself. If you have something to make your life easier, don't hesitate to use it. For those of you who are like, oh, Susan, this is so easy, put your hands here, pick your feet up, and then just go back and forth a few times. If you ever want a great workout that kind of engages your abdominals, this is a really nice workout, okay? Let's just do some abdominal work on that note. If you want to do some abdominal work, you're going to turn to the side. If you have an armrest here, it's a little bit tricky, but for those of you who don't, you're simply going to lean back, 3, 2, 1, and come up. If you're like Susan, I have armrest and I really want to do this, get to the edge of your chair, okay? Get to the edge of your chair and lean back, 3, 2, 1, and come up, okay? And back, 3, 2, 1, and up. 3, 2, 1, and come up. And 3, 2, 1, come up. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see what's going on here, okay? So I am trying to keep my body as tall as possible. What's my temptation if I have Parkinson's? My temptation is this, right? This is my temptation. Nope. You make your body very long, put your arms a little bit out in front of you, keep your trunk, body straight. 3, 2, 1, and up. And lean back, lean back, lean back. 3, 2, 1. We're going to do 3 more, okay? So let's go back, back, back. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. And 3, 2, 1. Okay. So you absolutely can get some abdominal work sitting in a chair. Remember, just by inching forward, shimmying forward, by weight shifting, engages my core. And then if I want to get like, oh, I really want to work on some of this, then you can absolutely do it in your chair. The thing that holds us back, and I say this with empathy for myself, the thing that holds me back the most from exercising, and I think the thing that I suspect what holds a lot of us back is it isn't that we don't have enough equipment. You know, it isn't that we can't go to the gym. It's just that it is so hard to motivate ourselves to actually do it. So all you really need is a chair, and you can get a decent workout. So just remember that. That's all you need is a chair. So you've done some abdominal work, you've done some weight shifting, da-da-ba-da, okay? Let us think about the next weight shift, which is forward, okay? This is really, really, really important because all your life you are going to want to get off your chair, off the couch, off the bed, off the toilet. You always want to have this ability to stand up, and you want to have this ability to stand up well. Okay, here's the irony with Parkinson's, right? Here's an irony. Parkinson's constantly shifts my weight forward, whether I'm sitting, it lets my head and shoulders forward, and if I'm standing, it shifts me forward, it gets my shoulder forward and my head forward. But the deep irony is this: when I go to stand up, it doesn't want me to go forward enough, okay? So if I'm going to stand up easily, I have to get my head for a brief second past my knees. And what happens when I have Parkinson's is I kind of just stop here and I think, gosh, I can't get up anymore, I must be getting weak. But it's not that. You must get your head past your knees. So this is where if you have another chair, please grab it. If you don't, it's not the end of the world, okay? You can just watch and observe if you can't get another chair right now for whatever reason. But if you can grab another chair, please do. Okay, I've got a chair over here. I'm gonna grab a chair with armrests. You don't need a chair with armrests, but I'm just gonna take a chair with armrests. I'm gonna turn it sideways. Okay. All right. So one of the ways you, and this is really good for balance, okay? Because Sometimes, of course, if our balance is impaired or we've had a couple of falls or we're worried about falling, we kind of really pull back even more. So you want to be able to practice shifting your center of gravity, which is what movement to a certain extent is. You want to be able to practice shifting your center of gravity in a place where you feel safe. If you don't have a chair in front of you, just practice this. Anyway, leaning forward. But if you have that chair, the advantage of having a chair in front of you is that it really lets you know if you are shifting. Because I'll have people say, Susan, I am shifting forward. Then I put a chair in front of them. I say, put your hands here and slide forward. And oh, all of a sudden that's a big shock, right? All of a sudden they're realizing, oh, you know what? That feels really hard to get to here. Now, sometimes that is because we are so tight in these hip muscles that even to go here and then we start to feel, oh, or if I'm really tight in my shoulder muscles, right? Because if I can only raise my hands this high, I'm only going to be able to stretch to here. So you can use this position for a number of things. You can, if you're here and you're like, oh, you know what, I just really feel that under my arms, this is a great position to hold for 2 or 3 deep breaths. I like the idea of holding a stretch for breaths rather than counting to a certain extent because it reminds me to breathe. And sometimes when we're stretching or we're really trying hard, we stop breathing. So this is a great thing for a weight shift, for stretching your shoulders, okay? And for really seeing, hey, how far can I go? How far can I really stretch, right? How far can I go? And this gives you just a really nice way of working this upper trunk and getting a lot of movement happening. Okay. The other advantage of having a chair in front of you is you can work on shoulder range of motion like we talked about. You can work on the stretch. I can also work on some upper extremity strengthening if I want. So here I'm just pushing up. Now, depends how your back, I'm giving my knees a little flex here just to take some of the pressure off my back. And then I'm straightening my elbows and I'm bringing my upper chest down. I don't want to be thinking of bringing my head down to the chest, I don't want to think of my head going down to the chair. I want to be thinking of my upper chest as going down. Okay? So, I'm giving you a few ideas here. And yeah, and please use this session as a way of getting some ideas. Okay, so let's do 10 of these together. So we're going to stand up and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to sit down. While I'm here, I'm going to figure out my posture, big body, tall. Now, I'm going to imagine my head is sitting on a drawer, and I'm going to pull my neck back in line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is an important skill to have because Parkinson's loves my head to poke forward, and I don't want to tilt my head up, okay? My goal is to get my head in line with my spine, okay? So this is, if you imagine that your head is on a drawer, it won't let you tilt. So the movement is straight back, okay? Let's do 10 more of these arm push-ups in front of us. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Sit down, and 10 back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Another nice thing if you have a chair in front of you, it just gives you a little something and to have for stability. And if you would like, it's a nice place to try just doing some squats, right? So let's lean forward, head forward, push yourself up to stand. Now, if you want to work on some squats, remember, and we always squat when we go to sit, right? So when I stand up, I lean forward. When I sit down, I go back like this. Sometimes that can bug my knees, though, if I go sit, stand a lot. So what I can work on to get my hip extensors and my quads stronger is I can work on some mini squats, right? So with my mini squats, I'm not bending my knees a huge degree. What I'm doing is I'm thinking of reaching back with my hips. When you stand up, stand tall, okay? So your goal isn't this. Your goal is to do your squat and to come up very tall. Notice where my hands are and notice how big my hands are. Okay, so here again, I'm pushing my hips back, up tall. Hips back, up tall. Where are your eyes? Are you looking up ahead? Because you want to be really eyes ahead, not looking down. Okay. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Okay? Now, when you go to sit down, do not collapse into the chair. And this is, whoopsie. This is a really nice, another thing to practice is to do a little baby squat, reach back, and then sit. Always be in this habit of when you sit, if there is an armrest, make sure you touch that, okay? So let's just go 10 more squats again. We're gonna stand up, push up, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, I think I was looking down there. I don't know why. But always be looking up ahead. Now, for those of us, say we're having a really bad day, our medication's off, we're tired, life has happened, and we're thinking, okay, Susan, I can't even stand to do the squats. Then you're going to really work on forward and exaggerate this up. Forward, exaggerate this up. Forward, exaggerate, forward, exaggerate that up movement, okay? We're kind of running all over the place here, but I also really wanted to talk about stretching. Stretching is so important, okay? Because when I work with clients, of course, I'm always saying, hey, big step, get your heel down, get your heel down, get your heel down. You want to have your heel down because why? Parkinson's wants shuffle, shuffle. What do you want? You want your heel down. Okay, but if my knee is constantly flexed and my hips are constantly flexed, guaranteed, you're not going to have full knee extension. You might think you do, but you don't, okay? So let's look at, hey, shimmy to the end of your chair, edge of your chair here. Put one leg straight out in front of you. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. Straight out in front. So here's what happens. A lot of times people, they kind of go here, and they say, well, that's as straight as it gets. No, you want a little bit straighter. You want to be able to think of pressing the back of your knee down and your toe up without collapsing, okay? So the tighter my hamstrings are, the tighter my hamstrings are, the more I'm gonna wanna do this, okay? Because I'm gonna try and relieve that pressure from my hamstrings. So now, I'm sitting very tall as I can. If you are fortunate enough, and we usually have one leg that's a little looser than the other, if you are fortunate enough to have great range of motion here, and you do want to challenge yourself more, then you would be looking ahead like this, and you would feel that stretch back here, and you would hold this for 3 deep, slow breaths. Then we're going to go to the other side, okay? So you're going to have your leg out straight. You're going to think of pressing the back of your leg down to the floor and pulling your toe up as straight as you can. So you have got this toe up stretch here. If you're like, oh, this is as good as it gets, great. If you want some more of a stretch, let's stretch it out again. 3 deep breaths. Good. Okay, I'm going to face you, and we're going to do that again, okay? So we're going to have our leg out, sit tall, back of knee pressing down and toe up. Another nice way to kind of get some movement, different movement, is just to imagine you're swimming, okay? You've got to keep breathing, but just this, by moving your arms, it will help release some tension in your legs. So you can also keep pressing the back of your knee down, keep breathing, and move your arms, and that will release some of the tension. Always with anything, why am I doing this? You're doing this so that you can walk better. Because you have to have this ability, when you walk, you have to have this ability to get like this, because that's what normal walking is. Normal walking is like getting my heel down. If my hamstring and calf muscle is so tight that I can't do that, then it's really hard to have a normal walking pattern, even when you're really, really focusing on that. So all we're doing here is pressing the back of your knee down to the floor, back of your knee down to the floor, and you're going for that stretch, that stretch, that stretch. Okay, this stretch can be done also out to the side, right? Because we seem to get really, really tight in here. So with my hamstring muscle, my leg is in front of me. Now I'm here out to the side and I'm sitting as tall as I can. By me just sitting tall, I can actually feel a stretch in here, but I want to sit tall. Let's go for a swim, 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 swim. Okay, and now I'm going to take this leg out here, and I'm going to go for a swim, 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 swim. One more, swim. Okay. If I wanted to get more of a stretch in this, I could put one leg out, and I reach up. Right, and I can hold that for 3 deep breaths. I'm going to come in, leg out to the side, and again, you would hold that for 3 deep breaths. If you're ever sitting in your chair and you want to get some cardio happening, what you want to do is move your legs, because our legs are big muscles, right? And when those big muscles move, it's really good for our heart. I'm going to turn to the side very briefly. So all I'm doing here is I'm not collapsing down, right? And that's another good thing about doing your hamstring stretch. Then when you want to do some quad strengthening, you can actually get a full range through your knee, okay? So I'm going to slow it down a little bit because you want to make sure that you are getting fully extended. You want to make sure that you are getting that knee fully moving. Now, for some of us, you know what, if I just do this for a few minutes, oh, I am going to definitely feel that. I'm going to start feeling like, yeah, this is getting tiring, okay? For some of us, it'll be like, no, you know what, I want more of a challenge. So if you are wanting more of a challenge, what you're going to do is, I just got to get this in here. What you're going to do is move your arms, okay? Now, I like to move my arms like I'm walking, so I have opposite arm to opposite foot. Sometimes that can get kind of confusing for people. Do not worry about it. If you're moving your arms and your legs, I'm happy, okay? Actually, if you're just moving your legs, I'm happy. But we're just going to do this for a few minutes, okay? And if you're like, Susan, this is too much for me, just go back to legs. If I'm doing this too fast for you to get your knee fully extended, please go as slow as you need to get that knee fully extended. When you want to add cardio in, it doesn't have to be really fast, okay? You just have to be moving. You just want to keep moving. You just want to keep moving. Now, you can stop anytime you want, but if you wanted to go for a walk, this is one way of going for a walk in your chair. You're getting your large muscles of your legs moving. You're bringing in your arms. You're engaging your arms, which is always good for cardio, right? That will definitely help get your going and stop. Okay, so this marching on the spot, or sorry, this kicking in the spot, extending your knees, definitely gets your heart going. Another way to get a really good workout in a chair is hip flexion. So, which is just a fancy way of saying you're lifting your thigh up towards the ceiling. Okay, it's another big muscle that you're doing. Try not to roll back when you do this. So if you roll back and you do it, you're not just engaging your hip flexors as much, and we want this really specific for this. So again, this is a big muscle that I'm moving. So I'm getting, right away, I'm engaging my circulation. And there again, let's add some cardio in. So we're going to go opposite, opposite, opposite. Do this as fast or as slow as you like. We're going to do this for a minute. So while you're doing this, if you start to get bored and think, wow, I wish I could stop, do not stop. Think about what's happening to your hands. Are your hands big? Where are your eyes? Are you looking ahead? The temptation, remember, is always, always to look down. Okay? We're coming up right now to 30 seconds. So remember, you can get a good little cardio workout, right? Keep breathing. If you're not sure if you're breathing, try counting out loud. We've got 20 seconds left here in this little movement. And there again, I said, you know, like I said before, it's not a matter we don't have enough equipment. It's not a matter that our balance isn't great. It's a matter of just really, really engaging in it. And that was 1 minute. Okay. So how do you get some cardio? How do you get some cardio? And why do you want cardio? You want cardio because the intensity of the exercise, a lot of the research is showing, right? The intensity is important. You want to have some intensity. At the end of your exercise, you want to feel like you've been exercising. So what are some simple ways to do that, right? Shift and reach. Shift and reach. Let's just do that shift and reach. Let's go back and we'll just do that for 30 seconds. And let's go. Reach. Reach. Big hand. If this is too fast for you, then you just slow it down. Big hands front, big hands up, and big hands down. Reach. 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 That was 30 seconds of that. Let's do 30 seconds. One. We're going to do 30 seconds of this. Now, I feel like I'm rushing this, because normally, of course, I would be doing this with you. I can see what's going on. So if this is too fast, you just slow it down. But you want to make sure your arm reach is big. You want to make sure your foot is up and your knee is fully extended. Okay, so that's 30 seconds of that. Now, we're going to do thighs for 30 seconds. Up, 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 up. Keep going. Make sure you're breathing. If you're by yourself, just keep talking. Keep talking. Keep talking. Okay, this is the last of our 2 minutes. Let's go. If we do 30 seconds of this, we will have done 2 minutes of some cardio. So you don't have to do cardio like this for 20 minutes or anything, but even if you do 2 or 3 minutes, work your way up to 3 minutes. Work your way up to 3 minutes of doing this, right? That gives you some intensity in your workout. So feel free, absolutely free, to break up your workout into, okay, I'm going to do my stretching. I'm going to do my stretching. I'm going to do 2 minutes of cardio. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do my head, do my neck. And then I'm going to work on my weight shift. And then I'm going to do another 2 minutes of higher intensity exercise. I'm just trying to see here. Your balance work, okay? So this ability to shift is balance. Because when I walk, I'm shifting. So I want to have this ability and strength to shift. Don't hesitate, if you feel safe, to have your chair here, okay? And I can work on shifting my weight from one foot to the other in standing. Maybe it's better if I show you this way. Okay, so I'm here, and I'm shifting. I've got my hands. You can do this on a counter. It doesn't have to be on a chair. A counter is super because then you feel really safe, right? But what is walking? Walking is I shift, and notice I don't collapse down. I do not collapse. So when I'm moving, there is no collapse of my body. My trunk is staying tall and long. Okay? So working on your weight shift, and ironically, the slower you do this in standing, the better it is for your balance, right? Because then you're essentially standing on one foot for a length of time. Balance and strength are best friends, okay? So if this is really tiring and hard for you, it might be because of some weakness. So as you get stronger, this will also get easier. This is a class on sitting exercises, so I won't do too much more in balance, but I'm just going to say I really like, for my chair exercises, I really like having another chair because it keeps me honest as how far I'm reaching. It allows me to do my stretching of my shoulders. I can just do a lot of things with it. If you want to get a really good stretch, this will be the final thing I'm going to say. If you want to get a really good stretch on your legs, because to a certain extent our leg muscles need time to stretch, and we tend to get bored with stretching, and then we just quit. So if you're watching TV, put a chair or something, a stool in front of you, and just make sure you got a towel behind here, and just sit and watch TV for a few minutes while you get that stretch on your legs. Don't forget to pull your toe up every now and then. But I absolutely encourage you to enjoy chair exercises. When they asked me, like, what I said to them, okay, what do you want me to talk about? And they said chair exercises. I thought, great, because it's one of my favorite things. We can do so much in chairs, and it's highly underrated. We can make them challenging, we can make them fun, and everyone has a chair. So I just really encourage you to be as active as you possibly can. Chances are throughout the day you're sitting in a chair. If you're sitting in the chair, think about your breathing, think about your posture, think about shifting. If you just even do those few things, you will have done something more than had you done nothing. Okay, I think we're just about getting to the end of our time. So I don't know, if you have questions, you can leave comments and I would try and get back to you. I don't think I can get back to you right now, but anyway, the people at Parkinson's Alberta are wonderful. They're very supportive and they will help you out as much as they can. If you have some question, I'll try and get back to you. Okay? Anyway, I don't know if I introduced myself. I think I did. I'm Susan Loewen, and I'm a physiotherapist, and I work mainly at the Movement Disorders Program, and it has been very nice working with you. For those of you who I know from my heart, I miss you guys so much. And anyway, yeah, I hope to eventually meet more of you if I haven't met you yet. Okay, take care, you guys. Bye-bye.